Part 2 of magic, the consciousness, also known as the higher self. Scientists who have studied psychics have actually found that when a person enters a psychic trance, their brain waves actually change. Psychics in trance do not really use the normal beta waves associated with ordinary consciousness, kind of like what I would be using right now. But instead, they're actually using theta and delta waves, which are more associated with somebody who's asleep. This is true of a person performing an act of magic as well as meditation. We access a higher part of ourselves, a change in this consciousness which shows even in our very brainwaves. Only at this level are we fully and truly conscious. Now, it's not really hard to reach this level, but it is hard to learn to do it at will and be able to access this level of consciousness on command. This shifting is actually called a shifting consciousness, or the consciousness shift. And an accomplished witch who can do it in the will be able to do it in the twinkle of an eye, with little to no external efforts or trappings or persuasion. The student, however, which would be you watching the video, may actually have to work hard and do a lot of practicing to actually master this. There are a number of external factors which can actually be used to help affect this change, and these things that are used are called keys. Keys actually help us affect the shift in the consciousness to access our higher selves. Things such as specific words, ritual patterns, items such as stones, the athame, the altar, certain artifacts. Basically, they all help you get into that right frame of mind, if you will, for magical workings. There are also many ways that magic can be performed, but ultimately, any way that is used has the same basic goal: to focus the energy and direct it from a state of higher consciousness. Visualization, spellcraft, trance, rituals, and chanting are great techniques that can actually be used to create the necessary shift. Each person is different, so whatever works well for one person may not necessarily work for another. Definitely keep this in mind, because it's a really good reason why everybody should actually consider practicing different techniques in order to figure out which one will actually work the best for you. Personally, I actually enjoy visualization and chanting more so than I actually enjoy trance or ritual. So what works for me isn't going to necessarily work for one of my students. So definitely play around with it. Figure out which one actually works best for your consciousness shift. Basically, through magic, we're actually we influence or make an effort to control our surroundings. And it is really wise to actually use magic only to make these surroundings better. The ancient rule of Wicca is: do as you will, but harm none unless in self-defense. Magic is a great ability and can be a very great responsibility. And you would really do well to actually respect it and use it very wisely. I get pinpointed as being the naughty witch. And a lot of witches do. Even though we focus on doing good for people. We focus on helping people. Sometimes it does get lost in translation. Basically, just keep in mind that everything that you actually do comes back to you, and this concept is called karma. Every action or inaction in time you will experience from the receiving end. So when you do something good for another, you will experience good in return. If you do something bad, you will receive something bad in return. Basically, the whole do unto others as others will do unto you is a good example of this from our Christian influences. You should bear this in mind in every aspect of life, including the magic that you practice. So, part 3 coming up.